Do you guys hear that? Do you guys hear that? What is that? Is that whining I hear?
They live the same place every does.
What? So we're once again talking about the Tush Push, aren't we? We're once again talking about the Tush Push. Because Chris Jones, what is that you said again?
They live the same place every does.
Okay. So we are once again whining about the Tush Push. And I'm going to lay this out here right off the top. This is the one and only time I want to talk about the Tush Push on this channel. Until they ban it or it doesn't get banned or something. I'll make a video or talk about that on the podcast. But I am not talking about this week in and week out. I hate this topic. I hate talking about it. But it has to be at least addressed one time because I haven't made anything on here talking about it yet. It wasn't banned in March, and yet people are still hating on it, right? And if you don't believe me that people are hating and that it's weird that people are hating this much, here's an NFL official complaining about the play in the middle of the game.
I am done with the Tush Push, guys. It's a hard play to officiate like we've been talking about. So they either ruled progress or that Hurts was down. Really hard to see what's happening with the football. We're inside 2, so replay has looked at this, and they've determined that there was no fumble.
Yeah, it never came loose. Trenkel did get his arms around that.
So, yes, that was Dean Blandino, a paid NFL official. He's the official that talks, the rules analyst, right? He's the official that talks during the game. And he's saying that in the middle of the game. And that's a paid NFL official. They get paid by the NFL. Pushing a new narrative being shopped around to justify legislating a team's ability to win. That's essentially what it is. It's hard to officiate now. That's the new thing. It's hard to officiate. And if you need more proof that it's a narrative being pushed by the NFL itself, well, here's one of the most prominent NFL insiders on a platform that owns the NFL network and NFL has 10% equity stake in saying the same thing.
This game was lost in March. This game was lost when the NFL owners refused to ban the Tush Push from happening. It wasn't lost yesterday. It was lost in March. And there might be a lot of games that the Eagles play that are lost in March because this play is unstoppable. It not only does the defense not know how to handle it, but even the officials don't even know how to handle it. You're seeing the Eagles linemen jump off sides every play, and nothing's called.
It's a false start.
So the officials have no idea. Defenses have no idea, and the Eagles get to do whatever they want on every single play in the Tush Push. And again, I know people hate it, but they have mastered it. They have dominated the line of scrimmage.
You see what I'm saying? You see the picture that's being painted by the NFL? I mean, it's just the same insider that is pushing this narrative of it. He then is on 97.5 The Fanatic, which is a local Philly radio show. And he then clearly cannot defend his point because he doesn't really believe it. Like, it's very clear. He's like jumping all back and forth. He's coming up with excuses. He sounds flustered. Why don't you give a listen to what he says on The Fanatic?
You know when that game was lost? The game was lost when Travis Kelce dropped a pass that became an interception that gave the Eagles the ball. The game was lost when Andy Reid made the decision to go for it on 4th and 1 from his own 36 that gave the Eagles a field goal, a gimme field goal in the third quarter. The game was lost when Harrison Butker missed a field goal that would have been a 3-point. So that's when the game was lost.
Okay, so John, so why the sensitivity then?
Because you just said it was a fact that the Eagles lost. You said the game was won on Get Up. You said the game was won because of the Tush Push. That was not fact. And you just said it was fact again. It wasn't won because of the Tush Push.
It was one of the factors involved in that game.
You didn't say that.
Stop that play. Oh, okay. Well, you know what, John? I'm not going to go into Get Up when I got 20 seconds. Well, they did this and they did that and they did this.
Well, weren't they bigger? Okay, were they bigger factors or were they less factors? Because I think Travis Kelce and that interception was a bigger factor in the Chiefs losing than the tush push. Andy Reid twice going out of character was a bigger decision. Butker missing a field goal was a bigger than the tush push, which accounted for 5 yards in the game.
John, fine. What does that have to do with my opinion on the tush push? Again, people are mistaken. So I'm not giving the Eagles flowers for making other plays? Okay, good. They did make those plays. Again, bravo. Excellent. They won the game. Great job. Okay,
but
people feel cheated that I didn't salute them for stopping them on 4th and 1 or coming up with a big pick. I'm just talking about the tush push and the ire it's raised across the league and across the country. People all worked up. I've never been one that's been worked up about it or against the play.
We absolutely have backed you on that. Andrew and I backed you on that completely.
That's true, Adam Schefter. You never have. So why are you now? It's almost as if someone told you to push something and to say something. I mean, can we say gaslighting, by the way? You guys know what gaslighting means? Yeah, gaslighting. That's what's happening. I'm so sick of this conversation. Okay? I'm sick of this stupid ass conversation where none of the arguments make sense and all the goalposts get pushed back constantly. And they come up with a new way to like argue about this and scream about this when it's just a play, dude. It's just a QB sneak. Do you really think that taking away the push is going to stop Jalen Hurts and that O-line from converting? Is that what you really think? When most of the time they're already converted before the push even happens? What's the stop? If you change the rule, what's to stop them from running it the exact same way with the same formation, line up in the neutral zone, false starting, if you take away the push? That means nothing, right? So I'm going to go over the arguments first, and then we're going to go to all the stuff. The first argument that people have is it's ugly, right? My answer to that is, so, and who cares? There's 15 plays a game that are ugly, that are boring, that are stupid, that don't matter, that nobody likes seeing. Are you going to get rid of the kickoff? Are you going to get rid of the punt? Are you going to get rid of all of this stuff just because it's ugly and stupid and and everyone goes on their phones when its play starts? Dumb. And it's along with that ugly conversation is, nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to see that play. Nobody wants to see that. Oh, really? Nobody wants to see it. Is that why the Cowboys and the Eagles game on the NBC was the second most watched NFL kickoff game of all time? Is that why? Is that why also here, let me move over for you. Here, this game between the Chiefs and the Eagles was the most watched ever regular season Sunday telecast. 33.8 million viewers. Most watched week 2 NFL telecast on record. Most watched September-October game ever. Most watched telecast of any kind since the Super Bowl. Up 21% over last year's comparable week 2 delivery, right? So you're telling me that everyone across the country, Adam, everyone across the country, everyone in the NFL hates this place so much, and yet it's still like every game the Eagles are in still is breaking records. And I get it, right? The Cowboys are the first game. Cowboys have a ton of fans. They're going to watch. So those games are routinely breaking records. The Chiefs are the dynasty of this era, so there's new fans, old fans, they're all watching because they just love watching greatness, right? Young fans, too, that have probably never seen a time where the Chiefs sucked, right? So they're all Chiefs fans. It's like I get that. But at the same time, don't you think that if people really hated that play, there'd be less viewership? There'd be some viewers that are just tune out. So you're telling me that people hate this play so much that but they'll still watch the games. They'll still tune in for the Eagles games but they hate this play. Everyone across the country. He said the ire across the NFL, across the country. Like, what are we talking about? Like, this is like, dogs and cats living together, man. We're like, it's nonsense. It's nonsense, man. It's music, man. They're selling you a narrative that everyone hates it. When in truth, no one cares. Like truthfully, I'm almost certain that most people that watch the NFL, hardcore watchers and non-hardcore and casuals, do not give a shit about this play. I understand. Like they don't care. There's probably a handful of people that hate it. There's probably a handful of people that love it, and then there's the people in the middle that don't give a shit, that don't care. It's like, oh, that's a play they run, whatever. And we move on. Like it's so nonsensical. And even if the play is ugly, even if you don't like the play, that's not a reason to get rid of it, because there's so many plays that are ugly that happen on the field every single game. Like, it's dumb. Let's go to the next argument. This one got disproven very quickly, and this is how they tried to get it banned over the summer and over the spring. It causes injuries. It's for player safety. That's what they tried to convince everyone that they cared about, which was player safety. I'm supposed to believe that the NFL cares so much about player safety. A league that is hidden information for players and young players to learn that they can get severely injured and get a illness called CTE. You hid that information. So we're supposed to believe that you care about player safety now. You changed the kickoff rules for player safety. Then when everybody complained about how boring it was, you changed them back, or you changed it in a way where it's going to create more returns, which in turn is going to create more injuries. But you care about player safety. It was the most disgusting bullshit argument around it from the beginning. And it's so quaint, especially after all the information we found out about the NFLPA this year, that argument was coming from the NFLPA. An argument pushed by Troy Vincent who's the president of the NFLPA, trying to ban a play, trying to get rid of it because it causes injuries. When you look at the information, when you look at the history, I mean, we've had this play for almost 4 years now. We've had this play for 4 years. All right. The information is there, and the information shows that you don't get injured on it any more than any other play. You don't get injured on it more than a QB sneak. It's probably one of the more safer plays if you look at the history of injuries on it. The few times people have gotten injured on it are teams that have done something extra. Like last year in the Super Bowl when Chris Jones lined up sideways, which was a terrible idea anyway. I don't know why anybody told him to do that. That hurt his neck. That's a bad idea to do regardless of what you're doing. Then you had the Giants who had 2 offensive linemen get hurt on it. But if you watched them run that play, they did not know how to run the play. They clearly didn't know how to run the play. The Giants had the guys literally lined up like it was a regular play. They weren't low, they were high. And it was just, they clearly didn't know how to run the play, and they got hurt, and they hurt their backs, which is insane. That argument is dumb. There's no injuries there are barely any injuries that have happened on it, no more than any other play. Honestly, the kickoff that you just installed is going to cause way more injuries than this play ever will, right? Then you want to talk about the next argument is, well, the defense can't do it, right? The defense can't push a player. That's a lie. There is no rule in the book that says a defensive player cannot push another player there. They can't leverage. You can't leverage over somebody, which leverage is pushing someone down and climbing over them. but you can push another player into. So if you wanted to do that, you thoroughly can. I don't think that's a good idea. I think it's going to cause that's how you're going to cause injuries. But that you are firmly able to do it if you want to. Right? So that's also a lie. And now we have the one that they're presenting this year, which is just even more nonsensical. The officiating. Officials can't officiate it. They can't run it. It's like, and then they use the false start for that in the game, which granted, I'll give you. The Eagles false started, like they ran that play 5 times that day. They false started like 4 out of 5 times. Like I'm not gonna lie for my team. But what the hell does that got to do with the push? Like, what does the false start got to do with the push? It makes no sense. Also, if they false start, just throw the flag. What's the big deal? They false started, throw the flag, make them go back 5. Like, what? Why are we coming to these straw man arguments? It's nonsense. It's just nonsense. It's like you are the official. How hard is it to see a false start? How hard is it to see that the O-line is lined up in the neutral zone? How hard is it to see that the defensive line is lined up, their hands right next to the ball? How hard is it to see that and throw a flag? You guys have allowed this play to get out of control because you never reffed it. And then you can't get mad that the Eagles are taking advantage of. That's what happens in the league. There are old linemen on every single team that are holding every single play, but they know you're not going to call it every single play. So they do it anyway. Is that not ruining the game? It's just all these arguments are so stupid. They're so dumb. They're arguments that they either range from sour grapes or just pure like lying. Like it's getting to a point where you're just like, oh, they're deliberately trying to make this play look like a mess. Oh, and also the officials, like the Eagles ran it on that 3rd and goal. You see the replay. You can clearly see Jalen's hand over the line and breaking the plane with the ball. No, he didn't get it. He's got to run it again. You got to run 4th and goal. They run it again and they finally get it, right? Then they did the same thing when the Eagles ran it again later in the game on a 3rd and 1 where they were just trying to get the first down. They ran it. They said, oh, well, it's not a first down. It's clearly a first down. So the officials are deliberately trying to make this play look bad by not officiating it. That's essentially what's happening. And they're essentially trying to now gaslight us as Eagles fans and as fans of the game into believing that it's an unofficiatable, it's not a word, but a play that cannot be officiated because it's just too much of a mess. When the whole reason why it's not being officiated is because you, from the beginning, have never thrown flags. You never threw flags for when the Eagles were lined up in neutral zone. You never thrown flags when the defensive are always lined up in neutral zone. You haven't thrown flags for them trying to mess with the cadence. You haven't thrown flags for the Eagles false starting. Everybody is wrong here. But none of that has to do with the teams. It is the team's job to win by any means necessary. The other team is trying to win by any means necessary as well. If you're going to let them do stuff that's against the rules, they're going to get away with it. If you're going to let us do stuff that's against the rules, we're going to get away with it. It is your job. It is incumbent upon the official to officiate the game. What the hell does a false start have to do with the push? If you get rid of the push, how is that going to stop false starts? How is that going to stop the defense from lining up in a neutral zone? How is that going to stop the Eagles from lining up in a neutral zone? It's nonsense. Like it's just nonsense. Just officiate the damn play. The Eagles line up in a neutral zone, flag. The other team lines up in a neutral zone, flag. The other team's running the cadence, flag. False start, flag. Why are we creating this narrative that it's hard? This play is a mess. No, shut the hell up. No, it's not. You sound stupid. How is this play a mess? Like, why are we still talking about this? Like, why are we, it's been 4 years, 4 years. Oh my God. It's like, and the NFL is trying to gaslight Eagles fans into a sense. Like, I'm going to go back to this Adam Schefter on the Fanatic. He has the nerve to ask, why the sensitivity? Why the You just said on national television that the game was won in March. Clearly implying that they only won the game because of the Tush Push. That if the Tush Push was banned, the Eagles would not have won this game. Even though Harrison Butker missed a field goal, Andy Reid didn't take a field goal and went for it on fourth down at one point early in the game. And Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce came together to throw an interception when they were in the red zone. Red zone interceptions are killers. This is what we're doing now. That's what we're doing. We're pretending now that all of that didn't happen in the game. You know they won. The game ended 20-17. That's 3 points. Harrison Butker hits one kick. Game's tied. Andy Reid takes that chance and kicks the field goal, and they make that kick. Guess what? Game ends 23-20. The Chiefs win. And we're talking about how bad the Eagles' offense has been over the last 2 games. That's what we're talking about instead of talking about a Tush Push. It's like this is what I'm talking about. It's like you're creating this argument that doesn't exist, and then Adam Schefter is like now trying to gaslight Eagles fans. Why the sensitivity? You clearly said that, and you also clearly are being told to say this by the NFL. Like, it's very obvious. This is also another thing, right? The Tush Push is bad for the NFL, right? Is having 10% stake in the ESPN when the ESPN has a sports book, is that not bad for the NFL? Is having 10% equity stake in ESPN when ESPN has a betting, gambling sports book, is that not bad for the NFL? Because that's what you have. That is what you're doing. Does that not look bad in an era where a lot of people genuinely believe that the NFL is rigged and that it's scripted? Which I don't believe that, but I'm saying, like, does that look good to you? Like, you know what I'm saying? But oh no, the Tush Push, that's gotta go. That's the problem. That's the issue. Not the fact that we don't know how to hand out. Not the fact that we don't know how to hand out punishments for men beating up women, or players, women, or essaying. Like, we don't know how to hand out punishments with that. But that's what. But Tush Push is going to destroy the league, right? That's what's going to ruin football. That's what makes the league look bad. It's nonsense, man. It's nonsense. It's something. I think the league also understands that they're partially a soap opera, so that they're creating narratives, stories. They pass it. Oh, they defeated the horrible team that was ruining football, and or they don't pass it. Whoa, that horrible team, that great team defeated the NFL. It's the same thing they did with the Patriots, essentially, right? Like. They were openly trying to punish the Patriots for cheating, which they did. They were openly trying to punish them for cheating, while also then celebrating them every time they won a Super Bowl. It's like, it's nonsense. All right. Yeah, it's just nonsense. And to be honest with you, like, I think Jordan Mailata kind of speaks for us all when he said this here about Adam Schefter.
When you look at our defense and our special teams, and they're dominating their side of the ball, and offense is doing their part, not dominating, but we're doing our part. We're doing just enough, just to call a spade a spade. I think that's bullcrap. You can't say that we're winning games from that. But other than that, I'm going to be an advocate for all the teams out there. You guys can definitely run this play too. I promise you, you guys can as well. It's not just us. It's not just the Philly Eagles. It's not just a Philly Eagle thing. You guys can definitely run it too. You guys have the personnel.
So you have to be mindful in the sense now that it's getting even more national attention. You see a guy like Adam Schefter, pointing out. Does it change?
I couldn't give a what Adam Schefter said, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I ain't the one calling the plays on my team, so I'm just sorry. Pardon my language. Pardon my French. I'm not calling the plays, and I don't care what Adam Schefter says. Sorry, man.
There you go. It says it all. Honestly, truly says it all. We don't care what Adam Schefter says. And you should go even further and say we don't care what the NFL says. Because as long as this play is legal, we're going to keep running it. And we're going to keep succeeding at it. And even when it's not legal, we can't push anymore, we're still going to succeed at QB sneaks. You think they're not going to run QB sneaks? They're still going to run QB sneaks. It's a waste of time. So, anyway, that's the last time I want to talk about this Tush Push. I'm not bringing this up again. I cannot stand this freaking topic. I think it's tired. I think it needs to die. We need to stop talking about this, regardless of whether the play is here or not. Please, shut up. Like, it's annoying. It's not. We're not having football conversations around anymore. We're just yelling at each other and arguing.